Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Mandy, and welcome to my channel all about cross stitch. Today is April 2nd, 2022. Where in the world did the month of March go? Because it seemed to have flown by in a blink of an eye. It has been a month since I filmed. I've had a lot of busy weekends, it seems, stuff going on with family that just have kind of taken priority, I guess. My sister's getting ready to take a job that will be taking her out of town, and so we've just really spent a lot of time hanging out, kind of just, there's been some stitching days and some pinball days. They're big into pinball, her and her husband, so there's been some days of that. So things are going well here. So I've definitely been getting lots of stitching in. I feel like I've got a bunch to show you today. So yeah, things are good here. The delay has not been due to any sort of, health or anything of that nature. It's just the weekends that I, have gone to, I gotta get Flosstube filmed this weekend. Some other things have come up that I just, have chosen that. So can't turn down time with family, of course. Time is just too short. I am wearing a Shine Down t-shirt today. Rock band, absolutely my favorite. I am so obsessed. And they are going on tour. They've actually got a tour going on right now, but they're going to be doing another tour later in the year with some different opening acts, and I've got tickets to that, and I am so excited. So as much as I am ready for September to be here, because it has been 3 years since I've seen these guys in concert, I don't want to wish the summer away, but I'm definitely looking forward to the summer. So it's kind of mid-September, so whatever that is, I guess. We should just dive right into it, shall we? I've got finishes. I've got 5 finishes to share today. A few whips and some very nice stitchy kindness and some haul. So let's get into it. So this is a start and a finish since I filmed, because I just started it Thursday, finished it last night. It is a March Patreon gift chart from Bendy Stitchy, our lovely Michelle, Bendy Stitchy, and it is it says, yeah, that's going to be a no from me, and some beautiful sampler motifs. I recognized the saying as soon as I saw it. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but if you do, I have this calendar that is gold. Oh my gosh. Nearly every day just absolutely cracks me up. And she decided to start charting a few of them. And I as soon as I saw it, I knew I had to stitch it. So she has hers designed in a and dinky dies, which I don't have. I do now have some dinky dies, but not the called for. And this was just a perfect chart for me to go through my stash and find what I wanted. It is stitched on a piece of 16, no, I think I counted out 18 counts, color and cotton. It's a grab bag piece. When I put it in my Q-snap, I had plans to stitch it this way. I was done with this motif into this piece when I looked down and realized that I had turned my Q-snap. So it's no big deal. I mean, it's just a small, that's just why it's where it is. Q-snap picked up wrong. So plenty of space for me to stitch probably a couple more things there. And you'll see why I can say a couple pieces. So colors. Oh my goodness. So I was digging through my boxes of floss, and I decided that I needed to have this color in it. So it is Gassed Mediterranean Sea. I don't know if that's even focusing or not. It is a stunning, stunning color. Kind of goes to darker to lighter, and oh my goodness. I forget now when I ended up buying this. I feel like I probably bought it at the Stitching Well, spied it on the shelf and just had to have it. Might have been when I was trying to find some blues for a luminous fiber. I don't remember. But it was in my stash and I decided I needed a stitch with this. So I based all of my colors off of this color and wanted to get coordinating. It seems like the dinky dyes that Michelle had chosen were all like different shades of browns, and so I wanted that pop of color, and then I based everything else off of it. And then I chose Forbidden Fiber and Garland, so it's kind of a brownish greenish. They're looking at it in person, there's some bits of green, but overall I think it's more of a brown. Pretty color. And then I went with a Color and Cotton in Bracken, and just kind of a multi-shade of gray. Again, looking at it in person, hints of green, I guess. And then we've got Color and Cotton Chai, so just kind of a off-white, there we go, in Chai. So see if I can hold these up together with the piece. And there we go. So this was such a fun piece. I couldn't put it down. I was really close to finishing it on Thursday night, but it just was getting too late, and I decided to call it a night and then finish it last night after work. It'll most likely go into my stitching journal. So that is one finish. A couple weeks ago, the Facebook group Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge, hosted by Carolyn Zuck and Robin Birdseye Stitches. They hosted I think it was a week-long event, something having to do with spring. I don't remember what it said. Spring into finishes or something like that. I don't know. The goal was to pick up your whip that was closest to a finish. You could put 500 stitches or 500 hours. I finished it. So I picked up Rogue Stitchery, Book a Day. This was a kit that was gifted to me by my girl, Crystal. Not a stitcher. Hopefully one day, maybe one day I can convince her to learn. We'll see. I've offered. I don't know if she wants to, but so she gifted me this a couple of years ago for Christmas, and it came with all of the flosses, and it came with a pre-finished piece of Ada. You can tell that it's got some binding on the edges of it, and yeah, we've got a finish. A book a day keeps reality away. The colors are very pretty. Again, I just, it was a DMC kit. It all came, I don't have it handy at the moment. I don't know where it went. All of the flosses came on a floss card. So easiest to just go with called for, since it was all cut for me and everything. So yeah. I know I got more than 500 stitches on it, but glad to finally see this as a finish because, I mean, it was really small. Of course, stitches, you gotta walk through everything that I've got piled on the table, don't you? I had to finish the word away. Like when I picked it up, I had started to stitch the word away. This book was done. The stack of books and Keeps Reality was all done. So I had to finish away, this book, and shelf, and then a day, this book, and that. So I didn't have a whole lot left to do. Can you get down, please? Thank you. But yeah. So I'll probably just put some interfacing on the back of it to cover the stitching, and we've got ourselves a bookmark. So thanks to her for that. I've got one more in my stash to do at some point as well. I just don't remember what the saying is on that one. All right, more finishes. I've got 3 more. It'll all be on one piece of fabric though. March was hosted by Sal, hosted by Betty Stitchy and Erin 2 Martini Stitcher. They did their birthday sale. It was Quirky Quaker Birthday Sal Stitch Along. And it was to stitch all the Quirky Quakers from Deanna Darling and Whimsy Designs. Oh my gosh, that gal. She has released the absolute adorable. Let's just go ahead and show you now. This is part of my haul, but we're gonna go and show it now since we're talking about the Quakers. So before I show those, last video I had shown that I did the penguin and Yeti. The penguin has a toile. The black is a Leo and Roxy in Vamp, or Vampish, one of those, I don't remember. And the orange is right here, because Bittersweet. Yep, Gentle Art Bittersweet. I love the pops of orange that gave. Yeti, that is in Color and Cottons. I don't remember all of the different colors on that. It would be in my post on Instagram if you're interested. So throughout the last month since my last video, I've just had to keep working on these Quakers. So, oh yeah, we're going to show you the new releases. So she released these Monday, I think it was. So, sorry for being late. We've got the most adorable snail. We've got a beautiful butterfly. I love the colors on that. But I did pull colors already to do all of these, and I've pulled this really pretty limited edition purple to stitch that in, so I can't wait to get to that. And then we've got the queen bee. And I've got the colors pulled for this one, and I think the orange is a Color and Cotton in like honeycomb or something like that. It's like, how can you not go with something named honeycomb to stitch a bumblebee, a queen bee? So I can't wait to do those. Again, those are a part of haul. But back to my finishes. It was just one of those, when I started stitching all of the Quakers, I put them all on a Tiny Decisions wheel app because I had threads pulled at the time for like 10, I think. And how are you going to choose which one to start? So I spun a wheel. The first one that came up is the owl. And I actually stitched this one in all the called for colors. All 2. I decided when I was shopping for threads for some other projects, I wanted the called for. So we've got Gentle Art and Zuki. So that's the brown. I was thinking this had more variegation, but what it does have specifically is that pop of like red. There we go. So that looked really cool. And then Bittersweet, because that orange is just gorgeous. So that was the owl. Yeah, I love it. These things are so cute, and they stitch up in about a day. A couple of them may have taken, you know, overnight, just one day to the next type of thing, because of, you know, got tired stitching in one evening. But they really do not take all that long to stitch at all. The next one that I used is a Leo and Roxy floss in My Funny Valentine, and that is, there we go, a variety of pinks and blues, a little bit of blue or purple. In that one I did the seahorse, and it turned out really pretty. This is a piece of 16 count Aida. I had bought it at the Stitching Well. It didn't have a name to it. I'm not even sure whoever has the orange, is that Zweigert? It's kind of a thicker, but it's working out well. And it's a big piece to be able to fit all of these Quakers on. And then the next one, this one was a fun color. It was a Silks for You. It was in a rainbow themed box. So it's a Silks for You May Pride is what it's called. And it variegates from yellow and blue and pink. That one was such a fun one to stitch with. And I did the unicorn because how can you not have a rainbowy unicorn? I just thought that one turned out so cute. I did not fussy cut or anything of that nature. I just cut off, you know, good length. And I, when I would finish one length, I would pick up the next length in reverse. So like I pulled off, you know, my 2 length, because I did 2 strands. I feel like I gotta sneeze. And how I put it on the needle, stitched it that way, and so that the color that I ended with, when I picked up the next 2 strands, I started with that color so that it just kind of kept flowing right together. And then it went in reverse. And I like how it actually, like, because I did the border first, like the outer border first. And I love the way that it actually, like, evenly pulled together, I guess. So that is the unicorn, and that is a silk, and this was a good floss to use. I've used another silk and I even tried using it again this week. I'm just not happy with that particular one. I bought some dinky dyes, so those are going to be interesting to use. But here's where I've got my big piece. It was one of those things of when I was going through their bin of materials, I didn't have them cut it down. I don't even know what this, it was just kind of whatever was left. But I can definitely get lots of Quakers on that. These are going to be cut down and put into my stitching journal. And so I don't have a whole lot of space between them. But I can definitely fit more. So those are my Quirky Quakers. So fun. I love all of these Quakers that are coming out. So that's it for my finishes. I can't believe how many I was able to actually have in a month. But, you know, when you're working on something this small that can be a bit of a start and a finish, easy to be able to get them going. And it was just one of those things of, I didn't have any kind of set plans of what days I was going to work on things. It was just, what do I feel like working on tonight? Let's spin the wheel. Alrighty. Seems like I saw somebody had posted a picture of this on Instagram or something, and it made me think, I need to get that piece out. I need to get to stitching on it. And this is Halloween Quaker from Lila's Studio. I love this piece. I love Halloween stitching. It is so funny that Halloween doesn't, you know, really mean anything to me. I don't celebrate it. I don't have kids to take trick-or-treating, but man, do I love the Halloween stitching. So I picked that up. This is stitched on a piece, ooh, that is about as true to color as you're gonna get, I think. I love the modeling we've got going on here. This is stitched on a piece of 16 count Picture This Plus in the color J. J-A-Y. So I do have it on the Q-snap. It's all folded up, but I've got that big motif all done, whatever's beside it. So I am working down on the, oh, got to drop it. I was working down in the lower area. Yeah, that's it. So 1, 2, 3, page 4, I guess it would be. So since I shared this last, I did the spider webs. I do still have to do the actual, those are the spiders. I still have the webs to do. Those are all done in long stitches, and so when I move the Q-snap, I really don't want those to get, you know, messed up with, you know, the Q-snap edges and such. So I'm gonna hold off on doing that till one of the last things. But I did that motif there, whatever that little doodad is. I started, there's a row of birds. There's 4 different birds right here, so I got one done. Got those pumpkins done. I'm using all the called for colors, so these are in Classic Colorworks, I believe. And so, a couple, like, I know black, DMC black. all called for. I decided to splurge and get the hand-dyed. But then this one is in a purple. I don't know how well that's showing up, but I did that in purple. Got that little doodad done. And then this is going to be the row of houses. And it's going to be a lot of black. That is for sure. But definitely getting the first house started. And it was just one of those things of I'm using the DMC, or, you know, that's just the black. And so it was just kind of following where the stitches are going to go for that. So that is my Halloween Quaker. This needle minder is from Gina's Unique Needle Minders. Probably got that from her Etsy shop. But she does have a Facebook group. She posts sales every so often on Saturdays and such, so check her out. That's my Halloween Quaker. And stitching on this reminded me how much I love this piece, and I really enjoyed working on this for a few days, so we need to get back to it. Alrighty. Use my iPad to show the picture here. This is from Christy's Corner, and that's Christy with a K on Etsy. It is her temperature bookcase sal. Bookcase? Bookshelf? Bookshelf. Where each shelf represents a month, each book represents a day of that month, and I am doing the average in my area, the average temp of the day. I started doing the highest, and in the month of January, I wasn't very far along at all. I had like 7 books done. There was a day that the highest was like 30 degrees when we were, say we were in single digits. I don't remember the temps, but, you know, say we were in the teens or, you know, single digits. And there was a day that it got to like 30 or 40, but that was at midnight for like maybe 20 minutes. You know, it was one of those things that to say that, to stitch it for the highest temp that was at midnight, that I wasn't liking the idea of doing the highest temp. So I went with average. And she provides a chart of ranges of colors. They're like 4-degree increments. And I had to add on a bunch colder than hers. I think hers stopped at like 40 degrees. If I just followed hers, then my entire 3 first bookcases would all be the same colors. Because I don't know that we've even hit 40 degrees. There might have been some days that maybe our high was 40 degrees, but, you know, since I'm doing the average, they'd all be the same colors. So I added a bunch of red, because like her coldest day was a red, and so I went into the pinks. So I've got some pink bookcases. So here we are. I'm nowhere, I've got 1 book done for March, and we are now into April. So I'm nowhere near, but we'll get it caught up. Throughout the bookcase, there's different little doodads that you can add. In January, I just decided to add in a snowflake. I borrowed the snowflake from Bendy Stitchy's Yule Ball. It is done in diamond. It is a red. I have not yet decided what I want to put here. There's a, I forget, I think it's like a Fabergé egg. Probably not going to do that one. Here I remember there was a flower. I think there's a little heart for the month of February. And in March, right here, or on hers, is a rainbow with a pot of gold. St. Patrick's Day. And then I think over here in the corner is going to be a spool of thread. I'll probably end up keeping the spool of thread because it's tiny and it's adorable. I adopted my cat Stitches in the month of March a few years ago. No, it's been 4 years ago now. And so there's a knick-knack pack chart that you can get from her shop as well. And she's got all multiple cats. There's even some dragons. There's plants. There's like all kinds of stuff that you can use to personalize your shelf. And so for the month of March, I had to add my Stitches. if you haven't seen before, I have a black cat named Stitches. At some point you may see her run across the back of the couch. She's hanging out with me. So in the doodads, there was a cat. I had to make her a black cat. I used a blue, I forget now what blue I had. Seems like I had a variegated handy or something that I don't remember what it was. At one point when I got her, I had a collar that had a bell on it, and it was blue, and so I think that's why I just went with the blue to represent my adoption of Stitches. So there are some of the times that I've outlined, I just grabbed a gray to outline because the colors, you know, back-to-back days. There are going to be a couple of days. There was a couple of days, I don't know, it was a week or two, it's been a couple weeks ago. I think we actually had a high of like 50 something. And so if I was doing the highs, you know, it'd be great to be able to get that huge pop of color. But I remember making a note of the temp, and it wasn't that big of a jump with it being with the average. But I'm definitely looking forward to getting away from some of the pinks, because it just means that we're going into some warmer weather. This is stitched on a piece of 16 count Picture This Plus in Regency. That is my temperature bookcase. Alrighty, next whip to share is Silver Creek Samplers Moonshine. I love this piece. I adore it. But I realized last time I picked it up, the moon is 2 stitches too short. And I debated, do I want a frog? Because it was going to be a lot. And I just decided, no, we're not frogging. We're going to make it work. And here's my moon. Looks like I got a huge fuzz. So when I was able to backtrack to find out where I went wrong, and I had taken one color gray at a time, wrapped it all up as far as it would go, took another gray, and, you know, followed around to the face. So it would have been the very first gray that right in here somewhere that I was talking while stitching and didn't highlight as I went as much as I should have, and so I missed a stitch. I don't know how to, I've stitched wrong, and so what it's doing is it's putting this point 2 stitches down, it's putting this face 2 stitches down, because I was realizing it, I had this random stitch over here while I was working on the dress, that there was a stitch that was way too low compared to where it should have been on the chart. So I did rip back some stitches here so that I can get her arm in, and I'm just, it's not going to be a noticeable difference. Who cares that it's not where it should be up here? It will be absolutely fine. It's just gonna take some more attention just to make sure that hair is sticking to my chapstick. It's just gonna take a little bit of focus to make sure it lines up as best as I can, I guess. Just because, I don't know, we'll make it work. It's just the moon. It's not like it's some, you know, big noticeable thing that's going to make a big deal. So the moon is two stitches short. It will be okay. I'm using all the called for colors on this. I am loving how those variegateds are coming out. And it's looking good. This is stitched on a piece of 18 count Bestitch Me in Artemis. And it's really not much. I mean, all I have left to do, is fill in this giant moon and finish her. And there's some little doodads here and little swirlies around here, kind of like this. So all I have left to do. So yeah, I think I don't want to say I want to make this a focus piece, and I'm not going to jump back into the 25/7 type of thing, but I think I do want to try to start focusing on this kind of weekly thing to get through all of that white first of all, because that's a bunch. And so I can see this to a finish. I want to have this hanging up on my wall. I've decided that I want to have this framed, not by me. What I may end up doing is, now that I have seen the wonderful job that Michaels does, my local Michaels, you can go in and purchase a frame from their shelves, just, you know, the manufactured frames, and then take it to the framing counter, and they will stretch it and pin it, and they'll actually even assemble it all together for you, and it's a wonderful service. It's a minimal cost, but it's also not as expensive as, you know, like custom framing. My eagles on my wall, that's an expensive frame job. It's worth every penny. I'm glad I was able to get it on sale. But it's also a great option that they offer to do the stretching and pinning, and then, like I said, they even offered to assemble it all for me, and so it worked out wonderful, and that was a gift. So I think for this one, the saying means a lot to me. I know I've got the needle minder in the way, but it says, "The moon said to me, do not wait to be whole, to let your light shine from the depths of your soul." So can't wait to have this on my wall. Again, this is Silver Creek Samplers Moonshine. And the last whip that I'm going to share with you today, I did stitch some more on my Dragonfly Clock. Not enough to worthy to share, I guess. I'm working in this corner, so I had been short some DMC, and so I got those in, and one of the colors that I didn't have, I started really filling in that corner more. So it's a bunch of beige, not worth pulling that out to share. But what I do have to share is Mini Midnight Messenger, artwork by Heaven and Earth. No, sorry, charted by Heaven and Earth. Artwork is by Ann Stokes. Hold it a little straight there. I do try to say this each time when I share it, in case you are looking for it. Messenger is spelled Messanger. I think it was just a typo that never got caught when it got put on. The detail on this piece floors me every time. I am plugging away on page 2, and this is about as far as it's gonna go for page 2. I've started going in that way. I have really worked my way down below 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know, whatever page is below page 2. I don't know what the layout is. I'm using Pattern Keeper now, and so it's one of those things of, I select a color and it shows me where the symbols are at, and so it's easy to follow the symbols. And so especially like this little pinpoint down here, there's been a lot of colors that I've been able to start here and work my way up. So kind of looks like we're starting to get a face in there a little bit. So I know at some point when I picked it up, I was really working in the background up here, but really the last couple times I've picked this up, I've really focused on filling in that gal. So this is actually her left hand against a tree that she's looking over her shoulder. When I keep looking at it, I feel like this is a thumb, but it's really her pinky. I don't know why it looks that way. But yeah, I'm excited to see that really start to fill in. There's a lot of color changes in that area, and so it's just kind of been one of those things that it's been easy to pick a symbol and stitch as much as I can in the area and move on. But what I am absolutely adoring seeing on my camera right now that I don't see when I'm sitting with it face to face is the depth that you get in those trees. I feel like I can just look right into that forest and you're just seeing way back into the trees. Whereas I don't feel like I get that quite so much when I'm looking, you know, and it's a foot in front of my face when I'm stitching on it. So, and the details of that owl is so cool. So I'm excited to get some more work done on this. Alrighty, so that is all of the whips that I have to share, all of the finishes. Michelle, if you're watching, we need to do another Twitch journal finishing session, because I was able to get quite a bit done that time, the last time you did one, so I think I'm ready to do another one. No pressure or anything. Alrighty, let's get into some haul. First, I'm going to share some. We've got a cat coming through. I don't know if she's going to make herself known or not. I'm going to share some very wonderfully sweet stitchy kindness first. There was a post in, so Color and Cotton Threads has a Facebook page. It's not really a group, but you can, maybe it is a group. Stitches. Because it's not just her business page that she posts. Like, we can post the pieces that we're working on with her colors. So somebody had posted in there that they were looking for if anybody had a skein of Ruby. The project she was working on needed more than one skein, and it was not currently on the website, and no clue when it would actually be available. And so she was just putting a call out for, you know, if anybody had the skein that they were willing to swap. And I looked through my stash, and sure enough, I had it. And it was a brand new skein, and I'm like, you know what? Let's pass it. I'm sorry, kicking my tripod. I'm like, it's in my stash. I don't have it for a particular project. Let's pass it on. You know, more than happy to share. And so she asked me, what would I like in return? Well, I didn't have a specific color in mind that I needed, and who knew if she would even have, if I did, you know, if I did have something. So I'm like, I don't care, just surprise me. So I sent her one skein. She spoiled me. I could not believe this. So she went through her own stash, and she sent me a Bestitch Me silk in evergreen. I don't know if that's going to focus, but it's different shades of green. Very pretty, very soft. I haven't heard of this one before, and it's Tomatilli Creations. There's a website on the back, tomatillicreations.com. Never heard of it. Looks foreign. Not even going to attempt to say it. But a very pretty blue. Beautiful blue. Looks like Carolina blue. And then she sent me all of these Color and Cottons. They're stunning. And you know what? In all of these threads, and I've got a decent amount of Color and Cotton, none of these are repeats. So we've got Nectarine. Look at that. Like Quakers galore. In fact, I've got the Seahorse came on, I got the hard copy, you know, cardboard, you know, hard copy of the Seahorse, and it comes mirror image. And so maybe I need to do the other Seahorse in that. And then we've got Raincoat, gorgeous yellow, Fiesta, beautiful, beautiful pink, and then Macaw. Look at that. Talk about another Quirky Quaker. That's what I like to do with these highly variegated, is a little piece like that where it's just a calls for, you know, kind of a monochrome type of thing. But then there's also this Dying for Cross Stitch Hank. Look at that. In Muted Spring. Look at this. What am I going to do with that much of one color? It's gorgeous. So thanks so much to Cynthia for sending me this. I just wanted to help her out with one skein, and she sent me all of this. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. You can see her. Hi, Stitches. So let's get into market haul, shall we? So, because it's been that long since I've filmed, at the beginning of March was Nashville Needlework Market. And so I had placed a pre-order with Abby Topknot Stitcher Shop. Awesome shop. I spied this one day in like the pre-order stuff. It cracked me up. I knew I had to have it. It is Tell Me I'm Pretty by Dirty Annie's Southern Style, who must be a new designer. Feed me and tell me I'm pretty. Oh my goodness. I cracked up laughing. I had to have it. I gotta stitch it. And who knows when this is going to get started, but it's an autumn lane. I had to have it. Siren of the Sea. So the sale that they did last year for Dark Queen of the Sea. Huge piece. Lots of detail, lots of beads. I didn't want to do anything that massive, but I came across this and it's gorgeous. So someday, who knows when. And then we got Bendy Stitches Vase from Thrace. Such pretty colors that I decided to spoil myself. And I also placed a 1, 2, 3 stitch order. And I got the called for dinky dies. I think there is, yeah, there's black coral, a dinky die. It's black. We're just gonna get DMC. Or I have Leo and Roxy that is like really the, what I stitched the penguin in just looks like black. It really didn't look like there was any variegation to it or anything like that. So we may just go with that one. But we got the dinky dies. So let's go through them individually because they are gorgeous. This is pink tourmaline. Tourmaline? I don't know how to pronounce that. Gorgeous pink. Wallaby grass. Caranda. Beautiful green. Oops. Variegated there. And then we've got Nashi. Pretty. Oh, these are so soft too. And then we've got Vintage Plum. Very pretty colors. Rose Bay. Really, really pretty red. Coral Lagoon. Another beautiful blue. And Billabong. Gorgeous, gorgeous blue. So it does call for a Gloriana silk. I may or may not get that. I haven't decided yet because it was a little pricey. Oh. And it also called for Petite. Treasure Braid. I don't know if PT was in there or not. Rainbow Gallery. So I went ahead and got that as well. No clue when I'm going to start this, but we've got it mostly kitted up. We'll see. So on that 1, 2, 3 stitch order, these are my favorite needles. So I got bohin size 26s. And then on that same order, I was going through Michelle's Hildy's that call for Threadworks. This was from her market. She included a market gift chart, so you may have gotten this in some pre-orders that you got from market. It wasn't included in mine, but it was posted to us on our Patreon. So I think she called it Japanese Iris or something like that was the name of it. Very beautiful. And then these were just some from other random Hildy's that I have in stash. I don't remember which ones they were, but very beautiful colors. So I gotta go back in through my stash and see which ones those went with so I can put them with the shirt so I don't forget. And then really the last thing that I have to share is Bestitch Me. This would have been March's Fabric of the Month that I just got it one day this week. I'm in the Mix Color Club. So if you're in that club, look away if you don't want to be spoiled, if you didn't get yours yet. This one is called Cinnamon. And it is beautiful. I love Bestitch Me's fabric. So, yeah, that's about what it looks like. It's pinkish, peachish. Yeah, I don't know. Hard to explain, I guess. It's beautiful. No clue what I'm going to put on it yet, but it's going to go in my stash. So, looking around here, I believe that is all that I have to share today. So, like I said, things have been really, well, I guess one thing that I was going to share because they were right here. I have these boxes of my, I meant to show these earlier. Oh, I'm going to drop. So that's how I have my hand-dyed flosses organized. So they come in as a three-tiered. It also comes with this organizer. You can tell, like little bins. I pulled, when I got a second one, I pulled that out because I needed more space. But, so I've got them organized, color and cotton. These two are color and cotton. This one is forbidden fiber. Leo and Roxy and Classic Colorworks, and then some other random ones that I just have like a few here and there. When I was talking about all of the flosses, and it just fell over. When I was talking about the flosses earlier, I meant to share those. That's how I have those organized. So yeah, that's really about it. Personally, like I said, things are going really well here. I've actually got a couple things coming on up this week. Tuesday, I'm getting a haircut, so I'm loving the short hair. I want to keep it up. And then Wednesday, I have an appointment to get new glasses. I have been noticing that when I'm sitting here stitching and I look up at the TV, especially trying to watch Jeopardy, it takes me a minute to get really focused, and it's not as clear as things should be, so on the screen. So working on my stitching right in front of me has been fine, but trying to, read the TV a little bit further away is getting a little difficult. So it's time for some new specs. I've had these now for 3 or 4 years now. I don't remember if I got them in 2018 or 2019. Say hi. We got a little hi out of her. I love her little voice. That's Stitches. That's my little companion. But yes, it is time for new glasses. These are Vera Bradley. So I like them, but I'm definitely ready for something new, along with new prescription. So that's what I've got going on this coming week. Work. Yeah, I have not been reading like I really want to be. Should be, I guess. I've got stacks of books on the other, where is that? Right here. We've got a bookcase over there in that corner filled with books. Got another bookcase over there filled with books. Have not been reading like I should. I'm a bookworm and I love to read, and this is definitely a good saying. I just have been focusing more on the stitching than anything. So if I can get back to reading on my lunch breaks, see, when we worked in an office setting, I would be able to sit and read on my lunch break while eating, or and after eating, and I could get through books all the time. Well, working from home, I'm taking a nap, playing on my phone, getting doing things around the house. There's been some days where I'll sit and stitch. So I need to get back to reading, just because I've got so many good books sitting around here I need to read. But I'm definitely getting lots of stitching in, and that's what makes me happy. So I know I've said it before, we're not going back to an office setting. I'm so happy about that. So I've got, on the other side of my camera, I've got a desk set up in my living room. But because I've got my patio door right here, I get the fresh air, something I'm so excited about once it's getting nicer out, that, you know, in an office setting, you've got recycled air. Whereas at home, I can be able to sit and enjoy the fresh air when it gets nice, and the sun, and I've got stitches to keep me company. So, yeah. Just kind of feeling like I'm stalling now. I feel like there was some other stuff I was going to say, but I can't remember now what exactly that was or has to deal with. I don't know. But that is all that we've got going on from here. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you are getting lots of stitching in. And yeah, we'll see you again, hopefully in the next week or two. I feel like 2 weeks is usually a good schedule for me if I don't have anything else going on. Just because in 1 week I tend to pick up a piece and I work on it for 3 or 4 days maybe. And so I feel like I don't have a whole lot to share if I film on a weekly schedule. So I'm kind of liking the every 2 weeks. So hopefully we'll be able to give you an update again in a couple weeks. So take care, everybody, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.